Diligently.
Diligently seeking. Think about that. He's a rewarder of them who diligent, which means that our faith has to be put into action. We have to be diligent about seeking God. You know, most of us are diligent about seeking work or going to work because we realize our reward is a paycheck every 2 weeks. But we haven't seen this reward. We read about the reward God has, but we haven't seen it. And God is saying, you have to trust me enough that even though you don't see it right now, that we get to the point where we just seek Him. We church after God. We get to the point of that God is our ultimate prize. There are various degrees of faith. The Bible speaks of 3 that I'm going to get to before I get to our text. In Deuteronomy 32:20, he talks about no faith. And God said, and He, being the Lord, said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are a very forward generation, children in whom is no faith. So it's possible to have what God says is no faith. Mark chapter 4. I hope you brought your walking fingers with you today. I'm going to walk a little bit before we actually get to our text. Verse 40 of Mark chapter 4. And he said unto them, why are ye so fearful? How is it that you have no faith? Now, Jesus wasn't talking to some Pharisees or Sadducees. He wasn't talking to some wayward folks he found beside, well, I guess he did find beside the road. But these were his disciples. These were his disciples. Here it is. They're in the midst of a storm. Jesus, as they set out for the trip, Jesus said, let us go to the other side. They get to the middle of the water and there's a little storm. Jesus already told them we're going to the other side. They run into a little trouble. And they find Jesus. Jesus, what Jesus at? He's on the pillow asleep. Wake him up. Do you care that we perish? Jesus already told them we're going to the other side. They're thinking that their circumstance is about to kill them. So Jesus just said, hey, wind, just lay down. Water, lay down. And he goes to them and says, how is it that you have no faith? You heard my word. I told you what we were going to do. And yet, just because we ran into a little turbulence, you think you're going to die? There's something waiting for us on the other side. And here it is. They made the right act. And they have no faith. How many times do we do the right thing and don't have faith? We go to Jesus. They went to Jesus. And yet Jesus said they had no faith. They went to Jesus. Master, we're about to die. Do you even care? So many times we take our situations to Jesus and say, Jesus, this is what I'm facing. I just want to let you know. And we say it, we don't necessarily say it, but we say it because we start worrying. And Jesus say, how is it that you have no faith? You have enough sense to bring the issue to me, which I already know about, but you have enough sense to bring the issue to me. And yet, you going to fret and worry like I can't handle the situation? Then he talks about little faith. The book of Matthew. chapter 6, verse 30. Wherefore, if God so clothe the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you, O ye of little faith? Matthew 14:31. We're actually going to start at 29. And he said, come. And Peter was come out of the ship and walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid. And beginning to sink, he cried, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him, and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore did thou doubt? There it is. When there's doubt, there's room for improvement in our faith. Matthew 16:8. Which when Jesus perceived, he said unto them, O ye of little faith, why reason among yourselves, because ye haven't brought no bread? Do you not yet understand, neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000, and how many baskets we took up? When we forget what God has already done, it causes us to have little faith. But then there's a great faith. Matthew 8:10. Talking to the centurion, when Jesus heard it, he marveled, and said unto them that followed, Verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in it. And that's what we should always want God to say about us. That when I look at Resurrected Church, I've looked all around the city of Atlanta, and I haven't found any greater faith that I found here. And I believe this is what Abraham exhibits for us today. Abraham in Genesis 22 starts off by saying, and it came to pass after these things that God did tempt, or more accurately, God did test Abraham. And he said unto him, Abraham, and he said, Behold, here am I. God came to test Abraham. This wasn't something that the devil made him do. This wasn't something that people around the city. This was God. And there are times in our life where God will test our faith, so that our faith can grow to a point where God can just say, you have great faith. Abraham, interesting. If you study the story of Abraham and his wife were both very old. And God promised him, listen, just look at the sand. And just every grain of sand, that's how big your seed will be. He made a promise that him and his wife will bear a son. And even after Abraham and Sarah had some doubt, and just to know they had doubt, because Sarah said one day, well, listen, we both old. So, I ain't had no children yet. So maybe God was saying that you're going to have some, children with this handmaiden I got. And I guess Abraham didn't put no objection